Hey friends, I think I'm live. I, I'm not dead, at least not yet. So happy to be speaking with you on Thought Shifting Thursdays, and today we're talking about bliss. Thought Shifting Thursdays, experiencing bliss, bringing bliss and joy into our lives. And what inspired me to do this topic today is I was meditating yesterday morning and I was in this state of pure bliss, which I go to. I mean, that's my intention as I sit down to meditate is to just completely become devoid of thought. And anytime I do that, when I just surrender in and there's no more thought, then I go into a state of pure bliss. And then what I noticed myself do, and let me back up a little bit, and I'll be in that state of bliss. I mean, even when thoughts come in, I'm still in a state of bliss. But when it's the purest state of bliss, when there's just, it's absolute oneness with all that is, I could call it pure love, but no words can describe how blissful it really is. That is just, that is, the ultimate. So, but what I watched myself, oh, and I want to say that, so sometimes I'll be in that state of no thought for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. There have been a few times in my life when somehow I managed to be like 3 minutes without a thought in that pure bliss. That reminds me, I might read something from my book that really describes it so beautifully when this happened for me one time. Since I didn't think of it till now, I don't have that page handy. So I'll flip through this a little bit. We'll see if we find it. Ah, there it is. I flipped right to it. Imagine that. Now this isn't the one I was looking for, but I'm going to read this because I like it. I experience the presence of God in my deepest meditations and my most profound moments as a supportive, creative intelligence that pervades all life. These words only describe a muted, fractional representation of the feeling. It is supreme joy in just being. This light that runs through all life is likened to love, but even the word love is inadequate. The love we speak of in our language can be withheld or blocked. The love of eternal light cannot be blocked or contained. It just is. It is a force so strong that it keeps life alive. It sustains energy in infinite existence. So, I don't know if I'll find that other one right now, but maybe I'll share it next week. But but that really does speak, that passage that I just flipped to speaks to exactly what I'm talking about that happened in meditation. And that is that when I found myself in this pure bliss, I found myself wanting to name it as pure love. And that's the closest I can come to defining it. And yet, even by naming it pure love, it was still blissful, but it was not as blissful. It was not the pure bliss that I experience when there's no naming of it, when it can't be named, when it simply is. And so that's what inspired me to want to share this today. When we do our ceremonial sweat lodges and we call in the directions, call in the west, which is the place of the setting sun. It's the place of endings and therefore new beginnings. It's the place of mystery and magic. It's the place of the void. It's the place of not knowing. And the spirit of the West always reminds us that as human beings, we seem to want to name everything. I was sharing my meditation experience with a client yesterday who was here at my home office, and she said, and she was in total agreement. She said, yeah, you can look at a sunset and just be in the experience of it. But when you name it, it becomes less of an experience. When you see a beautiful rose, you can say that's a rose. But when you name it, it becomes less of just there's not the pure experience of just experiencing it. And so in the sweat lodge, the spirit of the West reminds us that you human beings seem like you want to know everything. You want to know what's your next step, what's the next step after that. You want to name everything, put everything in a box so that you can understand it, dissect it, right? And not to say any of that is wrong. But if you want to really experience the essence of life, go beyond the name. Go into the essence of whatever it is you're viewing or experiencing. And so the place of the void is the place where where possibilities are infinite. The place of the not knowing is where possibilities are infinite. As soon as we name something, we limit it to what that name is. And so I'm not saying we shouldn't name things any of the time. When we're doing business, for example, it reminds me of in the Carlos Castaneda teachings, Don Juan, the sorcerer, and speaking to Carlos, his sorcerer's apprentice, would say that, look, when you're in what he would call the second attention, which is, in the mystery, in the mystical experience of life, then there's no time for practical crap, is how he phrased it, if I'm remembering correctly. And when you're in the practical, when you're doing business, there's no time for impractical crap, right? So you got to be, and maybe there's a way of merging the two to some degree. But the place of not knowing is where we have the greatest power. And so what I'm inviting myself and everyone who's viewing this today, or for centuries to come, if these videos survive, is to bring some more of the not knowing, some more of the not naming into life. To just appreciate things for what they are. To take things outside of the box and into the infinite. Friend of mine, Charles Rose, minister, used to be the minister at the Pasadena Center for Spiritual Living, called the Haya, said, we've got to spend more time in the unseen. No, that's not how he phrased it. We got to hang out more in the unseen. So I ask you, what is that like for you, hanging out more in the unseen? Take a moment to reflect on that. Maybe it means just getting out of our heads more. Maybe it means being in nature more. Maybe it means just sitting and allowing our thoughts to wander. I was held back in second grade because I daydreamed was the prognosis or the diagnosis, and I don't think at the time I felt any shame about that. It's just like that's what it is. And I now see it not as a liability, my ability to daydream, but as an asset, and is reflected in my writing, right? The ability to daydream. So, our society, our world just gets busier and busier the more we seem to evolve as a society. Another thing I write about in The Magic of the Soul is, one of our, I think all of our problems, a good percentage of our problems, come as a result of no longer being connected with our natural roots, connected with nature. And so if you're not meditating during this time of worldwide pandemic, then what better time to start? So let me talk about meditation just a little bit here today. The aim in meditation, as I describe it in my book, Meditation, the Simple and Practical Way, is to get to that place of silent mind, of pure consciousness. And yet if you're starting a meditative practice, there's so many ways to do it. And sometimes guided meditation is the easiest way to start. And so what I offer to people, if the only thing that you're doing is sitting down for 3 minutes. Let's make it really practical and really simple. Sitting down for 3 minutes and just setting your intention for the day, visualizing yourself going through the day in the way in which you want to show up. So what do I want to accomplish? And more importantly, what are the qualities with which I want to accomplish these things? Is it peace? Is it light? Is it love? Is it vitality? So whatever it is, see yourself going through the day. Again, that could take less than 3 minutes. That's, I often say that, the most powerful part of my meditation is going into still mind. But the most important part of my meditation is those, 3 to 5 minutes where I'm just setting my intention for the day. So that's what I'd like to emphasize for today. And I promised last week that I'd talk more about our shamanic intention setting ceremony that we're doing on New Year's Eve. Once again, we've done this for the last, I've been doing it for about 35 years since it was given to me by a shamanic elder. And, there's 4 phases to the ceremony. We begin by writing down and speaking what we're grateful for from the last year. Then we write down and burn the paper, by the way. And we write down and speak and burn what it is that we are releasing from the past year. Then we write down and speak and burn what our intentions are for the new year. And finally, we do the same process for our prayers for the world. And I think what more, and originally we weren't going to do it this year because we normally do it live in our home. And so we decided that, when is a more important time for people to release the past and create positive intentions for the future. So we're doing it by Zoom, and you can either put a note in the in the feed for this video if you want to get more information on that, or go to our website, livingpurposeinstitute.com, or you can find it, you can do a search on Eventbrite. It's where you sign up. So these usually fill up even live in our homes, with, we've actually gotten 45 people in our living room. So about 40 is what the max that we usually like to have. So we're limiting to 50 people, and I think that's going to sell out pretty quickly. So if you are interested, go ahead and sign up as soon as you can, and hope to see you there. It's a powerful ceremony. Have percussion instruments handy because we do some drumming as part of the ceremony. We'll do some tribal chanting, and we have just had amazing, that's what I promised I'd share some stories about the manifestations that people have had. The one I shared last week was about a woman who, it's why we do them every year in her home, because she called up and said, hey, are you doing that ceremony? And her intentions for that year were to meet her soulmate, become pregnant and have her baby before her mother passed away. And all of that happened. And while she was talking to me, I heard the baby crying as she's holding it. And when she set the intention, her mother had terminal cancer. And she met her soulmate, had her baby before her mother passed away, which was all part of the intention. So we've just had people that say, one intention after another that they set just happened throughout the year, having set these intentions in this powerful shamanic ceremonial way. So we've just had people who have gotten the jobs that they want, increase their prosperity, increase their health. So if you want to join in and set your intentions in a powerful way, join us. And until then, or until next Thursday, Thought Shifting Thursdays at noon, we will see you again, and have I guess next Thursday will be Christmas Eve. We'll talk to you then. All right, take care, my friends.